Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, my beautiful hot messes. My name is Mistress Lavender, also known as the Phenom Dictator, and welcome to my reading YouTube channel. If you're looking for my other YouTube channel, my regular content, it's A Beautiful Hot Mess, AYE Beautiful Hot Mess. But if you're on the right page, welcome. We are reading the 40 Laws of Power. We are on page 118 on the second paragraph. Before we get started, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn your post notifications on. Now let's begin. In one such village lived a man named D, who began to make a name for himself for fair dealing and the ability to settle disputes. He did this so successfully, in fact, that soon any legal conflict in the area was brought to him, and his power increased. Throughout the land, the law had fallen into disrepute. The judges were corrupt, and no one entrusted their cases to the court anymore, resorting to violence instead. When news spread of D's wisdom, incorruptibility, and unshakable impartiality, Median villages far and wide turned to him to settle all manner of cases. Soon he became the sole arbiter of justice in the land. At the height of his power, D suddenly decided he had had enough. He would no longer sit in the chair of judgment, would hear no more suits, settle no more disputes between brother and brother, and village. Complaining that he was spending too much time dealing with other people's problems, that he had neglected his own affairs, he retired. The country once again descended into chaos. With the sudden withdrawal of a powerful arbiter like D, crime increased and contempt for the law was never greater. The Medes held a meeting of all the villages to decide how to get out of their predicament. "We cannot continue to live in this country under these conditions," said one tribal leader. "Let us appoint one of our number to rule so that we can live under orderly government, rather than losing our homes altogether in the present chaos." And so, despite all that the Medes had suffered under the Assyrian despotism, they decided to set up a monarchy and name a king. And the man they most wanted to rule, of course, was the fair-minded D. He was hard to convince, for he wanted nothing more to do with the villages infighting and bickering. But the Medes begged and pleaded. Without him, the country had descended into a state of lawlessness. D finally agreed. Yet he also imposed conditions. An enormous palace was to be constructed for him. He was to be provided with bodyguards, and a capital city was to be built from which he could rule. All of this was done, and D settled into his palace. In the center of the capital, the palace was surrounded by walls and completely inaccessible to ordinary people. D then established the terms of his rule. Admission to his presence was forbidden. Dang. Communication with the king was only possible through messengers. No one in the royal court could see him more than once a week, and then only by permission. D ruled for 53 years, extended the Median Empire, and established the foundation for what would later be the Persian Empire under his great-great-grandson Cyrus. During D's reign, the people's respect for him gradually turned into a form of worship. He was not a mere mortal, they believed, but the Son of God. Interpretation: D was a man of great ambition. He determined early on that the country needed a strong ruler, and that he was the man for the job. In a land plagued with anarchy, the most powerful man is the judge and arbiter. So, D began his career by making his reputation as a man of impeccable fairness. At the height of his power as a judge, however, D realized the truth of the law of absence and presence. By serving so many clients, he had become too noticeable, too available, and he had lost the respect he had earlier enjoyed. People were taking his services for granted. The only way to regain the veneration and power he wanted was to withdraw completely and let the Medes taste what life was like without him. As he expected, they came begging for him to rule. Once D had discovered the truth of this law, He carried it to its ultimate realization. In the palace his people had built for him, none could see him except a few quarters, and those only rarely. As Herodotus wrote, there was a risk that if they saw him habitually, it might lead to jealousy and resentment, and plots would follow. But if nobody saw him, the legend would grow that he was a being of a different order from mere men. A man said to Dervish, "Why do I not see you more often?" The dervish replied, "Because the words, 'Why have you not been to see me?' are sweeter to my ear than the words, 'Why have you come again?'" Oh, Pierre, that's so true. That's so true. It's like begging for people to see you when you're always available. Me posting every day on my YouTube, I'm crying. Y'all gonna love me anyways. Keys to power. Everything in the world depends on absence and presence. A strong presence will draw power and attention to you. You shine more brightly than those around you. But a point is inevitably reached where too much presence creates the opposite effect. The more you are seen and heard from, the more your value degrades. You become a habit. No matter how hard you try to be different, subtly, without your knowing why, people respect you less and less. At the right moment, you must learn to withdraw yourself before they unconsciously push you away. It is a game of hide and seek. The truth of this law can most easily be appreciated in matters of love and seduction. In the beginning stages of an affair, the lover's absence stimulates your imagination, forming a sort of aura around him or her. But this aura fades when you know too much, when your imagination no longer has room to roam. The loved one becomes a person like anyone else, a person whose presence is taken for granted. This is why the 17th century French courtesan Nine de L'Enclos advised constant feints at withdrawal from one's lover. "Love never dies of starvation," she wrote, "but often of indigestion." Period. This is a long chapter. I'm going to stop there. I'm stopping on page 120, starting at the moment. Again, my name is Mistress Lavender. Thank you for joining my reading YouTube channel. This chapter, this is a pretty long chapter. This chapter is 16. The law is use abstinence to increase respect and power. So the next episode will be 120, but let's talk about that. I think that is very important. I think he'll get to what I like about this book is that they'll give you an interpretation of the law, but also a reversal. Like, you can use this law, but you can also reverse it. Because sometimes, like for me, for instance, I think there is big power when it comes to like absence and power. Like Beyonce, we rarely see her, but when we see her, we're like, "Oh, we miss you, girl. You're amazing, iconic." But like, she uses that very well. But I will say, starting out your career, whether it's content creation, I'll just say content creation, just start it off. I think when you are new, you do have to have a sense of consistency so people are used to you. Like a great example for Kai Cenat. He's doing amazing, but he's not new. He's been doing this for a plethora of years. But his fame just started, so we're just, I guess, kind of now seeing him. But he's consistent. He streams every day, but he does something different. So I think he's not absent, but his present is so immaculate that he's allowed to post every day, but it's always extraordinary. He's gonna be talking to you, but he's entertaining. So I feel like for me, like I post, and you check my links in my description box, like when you click the more box, that's on like my social medias and my link of everything I do. I post on all my site every single day, just for consistency, just to know you guys, like, I'm here, and leave like a footprint of what content I've made and to see my growth. So I think he'll talk about that later on, about the reversal of being consistent, but we haven't gotten there yet. So, but I like this author. He does both perspectives. So he's like, you could do this, but also flip it, do this. So yeah, I like it. So stopping there, 120. Again, thank you for joining my YouTube channel. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know, are you reading this book? Have you not heard about this book? Or what book are you currently reading? Again, my name is Mistress Lavender, the Phenom Dictator, and I'll see you next episode because I post every day. Bye!